Hey there, my name's Adam Lonberg, and I'm the solo indie game developer for Labyrinth of the Obsidian Vale, leader and only employee of Labyrinthian Games. And I finally was able to go ahead and finish the Combat Manager, which is a huge milestone for progress in the game. At this point in time, once I go ahead and incorporate the Combat Manager into the game itself, I'll be able to go ahead and have combat encounters popping up. And yeah, that's of course you got to have combat in the game, right? So like that's pretty much where I'm at right now. As I got that all wrapped up, and I thought that I'd go ahead and demo that for you. So let me go ahead and show that to you now. Okay, so this is the combat manager. You've got the background audio going and all that. You can see over here that the hero has been completely redesigned. I was not really happy with the initial hero that I had, so I don't know if I recorded an intermittent. There's been 3 different heroes so far for the game, and I believe that this is the one I'm definitely going to stick with because I'm pretty happy with it. So right now what you're looking at is going to be the first combat encounter in the game. You'll be in the cave that you saw in the devlog that I had a little bit, and you could see some of this from also the first video that I put out as well. And you'll be fighting a couple of rats, and that'll be part of a side quest, but the side quest is going to kind of be tied into the main quest as well, so you'll have to unlock the side quest, and I'm not going to tell you how to do that. You have to figure that one out, because of course you got to figure some of this stuff out for yourself. I will give you a little bit of some tips though, as far as like what you should be doing in the game, at least for this very first encounter. And beyond that, I'm probably just going to let you guys, figure this stuff out for yourself, right? There's going to have to be some mystery involved. Otherwise, if the dev is just going to tell you how to do everything, then there's not really going to be any challenge at the game, right? So, okay, so as far as combat goes, this is I'll do the explanation. I'm hoping that this is really intuitive. I don't think I've strayed too far from like industry standard mechanics and industry standard statistics and things of that nature. So when you start off, of course, you got your hero, you got your hit points, which is the green bar, and then you got your magic points, which is the blue bar. Down at the bottom here is the combat log. It'll log everything that's happening in the game, and you can scroll up, scroll down. If you don't want to see it, you can click on this little thing here, and that'll go ahead and hide it. You'll still see a little bit of a sliver of it, just so that way if you want to look at it again. I don't know why you wouldn't want to look at it. I like it, but hey, I want to try and make sure that if there's people out there that don't want to see it, you don't have to see it if you don't want to see it. So then, like I said, we got two enemies that are here, and some bats flying around for some ambience, because you're in a cave, gotta have bats. So yeah, you'll have the 2 rats here. You can see again, there's a little selection indicator here that you can either click on the enemy to select which one you want to attack, or you can use the keyboard to the left and right arrows on the keyboard, and that'll go ahead and select which one you want to attack as well. So some of the features that we got here, I'll just start with the bottom toolbar, which is your main toolbar, and it has your melee attack. You can choose to wait a turn if you want to, and you can also choose to flee. If you feel like the combat encounter is too much and you want to try and get out and try again for whatever reason, you can go ahead and try and flee. It's not a guarantee. There's a percentage chance that you might fail to flee the encounter, in which case you just wasted a turn. So you want to be kind of careful with that. Again, it's a lot like a lot of the other games that are out there that'll do stuff like that. And then above that is your inventory toolbar. I'm not sure if I'll expand it beyond this. I know that there will be different versions of potions. Like this potion here heals 25 hit points of damage. The magic potion, I believe it's 10 hit point or 10 magic points that it'll give back to you. So this will fill with other versions that are more potent as you kind of advance through the game and level up. Because yes, you will be leveling in the game as well. And then above that is the elemental spell toolbar. And you can see here, this is your fire attacks. And you start off with Ember, which is a level 1 spell, costs 1 MP, does 5 damage. And the nice thing about spells, and this is one of the tips that I'm going to give you guys, is that spells will always land for the full damage. And there'll be some caveats to that, but I'm going to leave that for you guys to figure that one out. But for the most part, it lands the full damage, right? So it's preferable to do full damage whenever you can. Of course, you're starting out with only 3 MP, so you can really only cast this 3 times, so bear that in mind as well. And then there's other spells that are locked right now that you can unlock as you level up and discover how you can acquire those spells. Let's see. Oh yeah, I guess one of the things that you probably noticed as I was moving through here, but it does tell you, like, there's tooltips that'll let you know what things will do. So, like, for example, this one tells you like the range of damage, and the melee damage scales as you level. So that way, when you level up, this attack is not like it's gonna stop being effective because it only does a low amount of damage. It scales with your leveling. So yeah, then you got your earth spells that are here. You can see that all of them are locked currently because you're only level 1. You just start off, like I said, with just the level 1 spell here, which is Ember. And then you got your water spells. Again, all of them are going to be locked, and this is one of the things that, got to tease you guys, right? You got to, like, want to try and, like, level up and get some of these really cool spells as you level up. And here's your air spells or wind spells. Again, all locked. And you got the lightning spells also. So also those are all locked as well. So I figured I'd go ahead and just kind of go through a session of combat with you guys just to show you how things go. And another tip that I'm going to give you is that I'm trying to make it to where it's kind of challenging, but not ridiculously challenging. Like, you can lose this first fight. I know that there's a lot of games out there where you get into that first fight and you just kind of, like, win pretty easily. This one is going to be a little bit more difficult, but one of the tips I'm going to give you guys is that you can find potions in the game before you even go into your first combat session. So before you even hit that first combat encounter, I would highly recommend that you go and find some potions. So that way, if you find that you're in trouble, you can go ahead and continue the fight. Because right out of the gate, you don't really have any healing. Your healing is going to come through these potions. So bear that in mind. So let's go ahead and we'll start off here. I'm just going to start with a melee attack real quick. And your melee attack is called Sword Swipe. As I said, you can see the combat log, logging all your stuff. You're noticing that those rats are kind of going crazy with their attacks, and that's because one of the rats have a special ability, and all enemies have a special ability of some kind. The rats happen to have an ability that slows you down. You could find that out because you see I have a little status icon right here, and it shows you how many rounds are left with the little black box. You can see right here that this is a slowing effect that will cause you to have your turns get skipped, which is why the rats had 4 turns in a row effectively, because it was one of the rats' turns. He slowed, and then the other rat went, and then you saw what happened. I don't think I need to explain that. So yeah, unfortunately, there's not really any way for you to remove slow just yet. I'll just put that out there. Don't worry about trying to remove it because you can't. You're just gonna have to battle your way through it right now, anyways. So let's go ahead and we'll hit this rat with Ember. And again, you can see, like, the standard kind of boilerplate. Role-playing game where you got the damage that flies above the head and all that stuff. So now I think it's probably a good time to use that potion because I'm getting a little bit low. I still have another rat that I haven't touched yet, so let's go ahead and go ahead and heal up there. So I guess you probably figured this out by now, but everything that you do takes up your turn, right? After your turn is over, it's the enemy's turn. So I'm not going to do that. That would be a waste of MP. So I'm going to go ahead and do another sword attack. Kill this one off. And this rat slowed me again. Luckily, he didn't have an extra turn on that one. So I'm just going to go ahead and try and get him out of the way real quick. So could hit him with Ember a couple of times. See if maybe... Oh, yeah. I'm going to win this one. But yeah. Now, of course, right now, since this game is just kind of like a proof of concept, you'll see that it for me, it's just displaying the game over thing, because that's just, this is a standalone piece of code or standalone framework that I have right now that's just running in silo. It's going to be incorporated into the game, of course, and that won't happen. What'll wind up happening, and let me transition back over to just a full screen with me in it. Yeah, so what'll wind up happening is that, as you're going along, you'll have combat encounters. You should be able to see the encounters. You'll see some enemy will be wandering around, and once you get inside that combat encounter, the enemy is going to make a beeline for you, and the combat encounter will start. It'll transition. I'm thinking it'll have some kind of like nifty effect that'll, with again, kind of like the boilerplate RPG thing where it'll have some kind of nifty transition that'll go from the main game into the combat, and that right there is what you'll see. You'll see the combat manager pop up. There'll be like level appropriate backgrounds. So right there, you saw that one's the initial cave. There's a lot of stuff that's in there that you find in the initial cave when you first start the game. There will be other levels that have different kinds of themes, of course. I don't want to just have it all be just one giant. I mean, it's all going to be in a cave, right? But the caves are going to have different sorts of environments in them, and the combat arenas. That's kind of what I'm calling the where you have the combat. The combat arena itself will also be kind of like level appropriate to kind of match that. So that's about it. I know that it seems like I mean I put months worth of work building this thing from scratch, and discovering a lot of stuff along the ways and how I wanted to kind of like get things up and running. And it just seems odd that I was able to pretty much go through all that work that I put up there in just such a short amount of time. But that's kind of it. Let me also just say that all the spells are all done and everything like that. If I were to go back in there and change the level of my character up to the maximum level, by the way, 25 will be the maximum level for the game. So I guess I can kind of give away a little. I don't know if that's really a secret or not, but maybe. I'm not going to explicitly have it in the game. But if you guys are watching this, I appreciate you watching it. So maybe I can give you a little bit of tips and a little bit of inside info. Yeah, so level 25, if I were to change it to level 25, like, and also there's some, like I said, there'll be some questing and things like that you have to do to unlock the spells. But if I wanted to, I could flip the switch and just give myself all the spells, and they're all there. They're already all there and all working. I just wanted to like make sure that I had everything that I wanted in the combat manager done. I know probably what's going to wind up happening. I'm going to put it into the game, and then as I start building out the rest of the level and some of the other levels and everything, I'm probably going to make some modifications because I'm be like, oh yeah, I want to go ahead and do something like this or that. But for the most part, it's pretty much done. And at this point, it's only going to be some modifications to maybe do some custom tailoring for different scenarios here and there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys are excited about this because I'm really excited about getting it out there. I really want to see like what people think. Like the combat, I think it's going to be kind of difficult. Like the way that I have it right now with the scaling is that it should start off like it should be pretty. It'll be a little bit of a challenge, but it's not going to be like an overwhelming like slog or anything crazy like that. You shouldn't feel like every fight is just like, everything's just up to the random number generator. If you play it smart, you should be able to win all these pretty handily. Of course, the random number generator, if the gods don't smile on you, of course, there's still a chance that you might wind up dying and have to start the fight over again. But for the most part, if you're smart about it, you should be able to get through them. But as you go on and progress through the game, it will get progressively harder. And you really have to like watch your P's and Q's and make sure that you've got a good strategy. And the strategy will change based on the enemies that you're fighting as well, because the enemies are going to have different properties, they're going to have different attacks, different status effects that they could put on you. So you have to be mindful of all that stuff. So I don't want it to be boring, but really I think that the most of the focus that I'm going to have for this game, for the most part, is going to be in the lore and the actual like gameplay itself and kind of getting through the labyrinth. I do want to have the combat be engaging and a challenge, but I don't want to be so easy that people can just go like, oh, it's just nothing but a speed bump that I've got to get through. And I also want to make sure that it's not like, a Souls-like experience, or not Souls, but some of those games where you just like Cuphead or something like that, right? Where it's like just absurdly hard and you just like got to get lucky and like, I don't want to have to be like that. So that's my biggest concern, I think, is just to make sure that the combat is fun, challenging, has some risk, but you should be able to get through it as well, and especially later on, you should be well versed enough with combat that even when you start getting some of those harder challenges thrown at you, if you play it smart, you should be able to get through those too. And I think I'm going to go ahead and cut it there. I could talk on and on about all kinds of other stuff that I've got going on, but I think I'm just going to leave it at that and kind of tease you a little bit with the combat manager. So the next steps is I'm going to get the combat manager actually into the game itself, and I'm going to get, the very first encounter. So I think probably I should have a devlog coming, not not too far off. Like this took me months to do, and I apologize. I probably should have done like a dev log that showed like, hey, here's some of the work that I've been doing and all that. But I was just like every day, like 8, 9, 10 plus hours a day, literally every day, 7 days a week. There's very few days that I've taken off on this project. So if you think that I've kind of slacked off and just disappeared, I have not disappeared. I have really been working very, very hard. There's a lot of stuff that went into this. So I really was focused on that and less on the devlogs, but I really should, from this point forward, hopefully put out devlogs a lot more frequently. I know a lot of people say that. I'm really going to try and do that though. So I hope to see you guys sometime soon. And if you made it through all this, I really appreciate that. I will have the game, and that's one of the other things I want to do also is that very soon I'll put out another devlog, by the way, when I get the game actually just on Steam. It's gonna be a work in progress. Of course, it won't be. I'll get the release date. I'm not gonna be able to release. I think I said I was gonna try and get this released for December. That's not gonna happen. There was a lot more work that went into that combat manager than I ever thought that I would need. So I'm shooting for quarter 1 of next year, 2026. But I should have the Steam page up. And when I get that up, I will go ahead and put up another devlog so that way you guys can go ahead and hopefully wish list it. That would really help. I mean, my God, the wish listing on that, I don't know if people understand like how much that means to a developer to have you guys wish listing their games. Buying it, of course, that fantastic. But wish listing really kind of like starts to get the visibility going on that. So I would super appreciate it if you would do that. I'll get a devlog up there when I get it in place. And until that time, hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you later.